custom streaming. It
And
says
that'll be live. Yeah, it's split into three different things
what on Facebook?
on Facebook.
Okay, I'm seeing. Let me go see if I can see it on YouTube.
Hold on.
But the live still say testing powered by
It's still saying testing, so it's not in yet.
it says testing powered by Restream.
Okay. Okay, there you go. It should be in now, right?
The like the title of the video.
The phone.
Yeah, we have to close it down and change it from testing and re-edit it to say secure the bag capture.
Where it say? Where I need to do?
Go to your live like on the actual on the live all it says is testing. Like it shows the video, but it says that we're testing
On Facebook or YouTube?
on Facebook.
Hey, so is we gonna talk about the preface first too?
Yep, we sure are.
So like a specific time, like so we don't be like just lingering on like 10,
Oh,
15
I
minutes.
understand. Oh, I need to take. How to take that out? I don't know how to take it off. Edit. Oh, I just come in here and edit it.
Oh, even on YouTube it says testing.
Okay, let me. I think it's here. I just come in.
Why I look light skin on
You are light skin.
here? No, my man's light skin.
I don't know where to say. Take the testing out.
I'm busy.
I have to go back to Restream
It's not the. Is it the restream?
because it says testing powered by Restream.
Okay, so how do I take that out? Everybody, be patient. We're trying to figure this out. Oh, update titles. I'm just gonna put book discussion.
Should I turn some lights on in here? Or this good like this?
Yeah, I keep letting them know so I'm doing this real quick.
Oh no, it's good like that.
Straight like this?
Yeah, because like you look light skinned right now. That's like you open the blinds, it might kind of like just. Things.
You don't want to be lighter than me?
And like I got a filter on my face.
Okay, see if it updated.
But now it says testing.
Ah. Okay. No, I'm on live right now. I guess if they click on it, they'll see it live. Because if you go click on the phone, I don't know.
Because right now I'm on the Facebook on the other computer. Just still saying.
Yes, and tested and powered by art. I wonder if I.
And then when you click it, like they can see that we're live, but it just says testing.
Okay, y'all, we trying to figure this stuff out. If anybody on here, we got 5 people watching already.
We on live already?
Yeah, we on live already.
Oh man, why you trying to say no? I probably would have been digging in my nose or something. Like, they didn't even know.
All right, okay, let me go ahead and record the computer. Alrighty, y'all ready? Welcome, here we are. I keep you dark. You need to put you on a light to make we can see your nice.
I got 5 lights, so I'm just dark skinned.
Need some illumination up in there or something.
Yeah, you need some illumination. We got 6 people. Okay. I'm trying to see if I can see somebody standing in the. If somebody says something in the chat. So how do I click on here? Okay, you can watch the chat if somebody's saying something. and you reply. Okay.
Yeah, let me open the this delete.
You have a lot of stuff to cut out, so we still getting ready. What time is it?
I kid. It look like you need an HDMI cord or something. Like mom, it look like we in HD and he like in the old school stuff.
I know, right?
Call me and mama the only one on Match.
Okay, whatever. All right, you're right. Okay, welcome, everybody. We are our family. We're getting together with the book, and you're going to be involved with us as we read the book. And the book that we're reading this week is. Where I put that?
You kind of going in and out, man.
Yeah, you are. Your mic's on going in and out.
Or my book? My phone.
Your microphone's going in and out.
On it. Okay, we got to start back over.
Take two.
Take two. Okay, I'm gonna shut my. I'm gonna shut my Facebook off. I want to.
We gonna put this in a blooper clip.
Yeah, it's gonna be in a blooper clip. All right, straight. Oh, wait a minute, what's happening here? Okay, here I come. Yeah. I think that's it. Accessing it. Okay. I see it. Okay. Can you hear me okay now?
Yeah.
What's it saying? I'm confused. Okay. Okay. I'm scared. Why is it saying? Okay, did it stop showing? Okay, there it go again. Okay, I'm just gonna look at this. Y'all look at me. How my students be doing? They're like, what is she talking about? All right, okay, you all. As a family, we're doing it again. Last year, around 8 months ago, we read the book Secure the Bag, and we went chapter by chapter, and we discussed that as a family. So now what we're doing, I look delayed. So now what we're doing, we're now going to read and discuss 50th Law.
Boom.
So yes, we all have a book. So if anybody want to join in with us next time, you're welcome to join with us next time. We'll be on chapter 2. Yeah, chapter 2. And we're coming in to discuss. So now we're discussing, and you all just jump in and wait till I say anything. We're going to some discussion. We're doing the introduction and chapter 1. Now, the reason why we chose this book is because we wanted something to read. What else? What else will we read? You all see, we got a lot of other Robert Greene books as well. 40 Laws of Power, The Law of Human Nature, then there's another book, The Law of Seduction, and what's another book? Mastery, right? That's another book. So we're going to read 50th Law. We always tell my students to read 40 Laws of Power. I ask them to go ahead and read 50th Law first.
Are you still going in and out, man?
Am I?
I don't know if it's like the way you talking or something, because it started off okay.
Okay.
And it's kind of like going in and out, like well, low and high, like.
Okay, so I need to just talk like high all the time.
Yes, like a robot.
Like a robot. Okay, you all ready? So let's go ahead. Am I better now? Better now?
Yeah.
All right. So the introduction. I'm gonna read what it says on the introduction. So over you, the greatest enemy a man can have is fear. I know some of you are afraid to listen to the truth. You have been raised on fear and lies. But I'm going to preach to you the truth until you are free of that fear. Malcolm X. So basically, the introduction, what they're saying is to that fearful attitude. And when I was reading this, and I have a lot of things that's underlined also, and it's talking about the fearful attitude is a simple emotion for the human animal. That's what I highlighted. Did you all notice that you looked at that as well? The simple emotion is the human animal. Simple emotion of the human animal, so it's fear. So automatically, what I get out of that is automatically we have that fight or flight. So it's a protective function that was part of not the intelligent brain, but more of
The instinctual
the
part.
instinctual part. Right. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. So the instinctual, so we allowed us to notice danger and retreat or to fight. So automatically, the fearful attitude comes to there. So I'm still on that first page, and I also have underlined. Remember the source of the threat and protect ourselves better the next time. So when we end up having fear, we're supposed to innately remember that threat for next time. So when it happens again, we know how to either protect ourselves or we know how to either run away. So it's the remember. I know Mark always say the body remembers what the brain can't. Is that what he said? He said the body remembers what the brain can't comprehend. He said something like that. So when somebody ends up messing up, you let them fall. And it's okay. The body gonna remember that. Okay, like when a
And then
baby
you
touches
remember you
somebody's
touched
toe,
that stove.
right? Like you tell them stop, 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 don't touch the stove, and then they end up touching it. Oh, hot. They're not gonna touch it. Or when they fall off the bed. Oh, I shouldn't say they fall off the bed.
Yeah. So it's kind of like but it sounds like kind of like our immune system works. Like when they say when you get a specific disease or when you get a specific virus, you get sick at first, and then the second time it comes, your body automatically knows to
Fight it.
fight it and attack it, and it won't you won't have the symptoms of it.
Right, right.
You
So even what's happening now. So they say fear is the oldest and strongest emotion known to man, something deeply inscribed in our nervous system. You just said that in the subconscious. You just said that. Good. So like the immune system. So like I read. Anything I keep
What? Well, I can't hear you.
is anything you have. Um, then I like to say we started to worry about. Oh, this is the part I liked. They say when you think about, and I remember I was telling you this, Dre. I remember you telling me this when you was a kid. I always say by the time, a lot of times by the time you're 30 years old, you could care less about what people think about you. You're not in that, so there's that fear is not there, and that's why I always wonder why people always they want people to they want people to like them. They're worried about the status they are in their in the society, what type of car they're driving, what the, you understand, keeping up with the Jones.
I need to start on highlighting things till about page 8.
Page 8. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and finish this then. Well, I highlighted a lot of stuff between page 8, 1 and 8. You too, Dre.
say what?
You too. Okay, here's something I want to add because I asked you about the evolution of fear is when people when people we seeing stuff over and over at being advertised. I end up saying more on how COVID is being happening now in the news, and even though yes it is there, people getting sick, but the news is we're looking at it so much, people getting anxiety and fear about it, so people are forgetting how to live. So it's a source of anxiety, the latest health scare. A lot of people are, I mean, you're just looking, you just, I don't know, you just,
It's like a mind thing, because like what you were saying earlier, like fear is supposed to be a natural state, like we are mammals, and I'm pretty sure before there was technology or before there was even, I guess even this environment we live in, like only time you did fear is when you were actually physically in danger. now it's your mind that kind of like makes you fearful for things like, oh, like I gotta cut my grass right now, and every time I look at it, like I get scared of cutting it because I know it's hot outside and it's a big yard, like. But it's like when it's sitting in your mind all the time, like what you say, like Franklin Roosevelt, I think that was uh, one of them presidents. He was like the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. And I really never understood it at first because it sounded kind of crazy to me. But like that's just basically what it is, like the action of it. So when you kind of get forced into, if you're forced into, I guess your fear, like stuff that happens, like death, um, getting a car accident, or just certain things that you might fear, and you kind of forced to take it on instead of having an actual choice, then you kind of realize it's not that bad. Like, so you just over here, you've been worrying all this time because of something may happen, and then when it does, like, it's like, okay, it's not that bad.
For example, I got a real good example. I don't know if you all have an example as well. But when I was in Officer Basic Course, we had to go through this slide for life. We was on a 70-foot tower, and I know how to swim, but I'm not the greatest swimmer. And then they were telling you have to slide down this tower on a cable. And before you hit the wall, you need to drop into the water. But you need to make sure you let go and drop into the water. I was the last one to go. They was like, you gotta climb up the tower. The only way you're gonna get down is to slide down. You can't climb back down. So I'm like, I'm not going. I'm not gonna do it. No. They tricked me up there. And when I got up there, they were telling me the only way you can get down is to slide. And so what if I don't let go when I get to this wall? Well, I guess you die. I'm like, really? So, but after I went on and slid, and then I'm like, oh, I want to do that again. I want to do it again. I wasn't afraid anymore. And also, when we end up rappelling off a wall in the military, we have to rappel off the wall, and you end up rappelling. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. But the first time I did it, I was afraid. And I guess we all go through those same type of fears that we overcome. But I wonder, when do we start being fearful to make you afraid to do anything? Just
stuff. Like certain people afraid to eat sushi. I stuff like that. Like, I mean, I ain't know what it was at first, and then you got us eating it, so I like it now. Right. But it's just certain stuff people don't even try it. It's like it's you don't think of it as fear. You probably just think of it as, oh, I ain't crazy enough to do that.
Right.
Or somebody who drowned in 3 feet in a 3 feet pool. Like, stand up, man, stand up. Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. So we have that type of thing. When we were talking about overcome the fear of losing. Okay, one thing, like some people end up overcoming the fear of losing, like you were saying. Well, I was like losing a house or losing a car, or even though I can tell you one thing that I really did like with you, Dre, is the first time you got your F. I wanted an F in school. Because you always wanted to always get A's, B's, and I was like, oh, he needs to get. I need him to get an F. So the reason I wanted you to get an F is because to let you know it's an F, you do better and you can become better. But because I had a friend who committed suicide because he got an F in school, in college. He ended up getting an F. I'm like, really? I ain't say it like that, but you don't kill yourself because you got an F. But yeah, so I was happy when you got your first F. So now you're okay. I got an F now. All I got to do is just build back from that. Failing does not mean you are a failure, and that's another thing. Fear. The older we get, go look at an older person try to learn how to skate. Watch how afraid they are of falling.
Like someone named G.D. Chess said, Franklin D. Roosevelt said, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself in his first inauguration. I love that quote.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. It was FDR.
FDR, Franklin D. Roosevelt. Okay. So yeah, we were.
Presidents.
Again, there was one president. So we got to understand what's going on, even like even now. So what to say? Fear is not designed for a purpose for anxiety. It's a function, like you were saying, it's for that particular area. So where are we in that? I have other things underlined. So we talked about retreat. I'm on page 6 now. Oh, Franklin D. Roosevelt. You just said we're on that page right now. Let me just skip over there.
See, told.
Page 6. It says, "Let me assert my firm belief that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Nameless, unreasoning, unjustified terror, which paralyze needed efforts to convert retreat into advance." So yeah, it's the attitude. So your lens, like you were saying, Dre, the lens is fear. What's gonna make you move forward? So here we go.
I know another thing he was talking about. I guess because as yeah, 50 like co-wrote this book as well. So what's the dude name? Robert Greene.
Yeah.
He was saying that like in observing 50 just going around and everything, he realized cause he never knew his father, and he lost his mother when he was 8. Like his mother was murdered when he was 8, and then he started he was in the streets doing certain stuff, and basically went to jail, got shot. Got to that. I guess the point of so many peaks and valleys when you have to fend for yourself for so long, or the more you actually go through. I guess the old saying, whatever don't kill you make you stronger.
Right.
Kind of like that in a sense. So when you come up, when something comes up that's not as bad as what it could be, it's okay, I can handle it, I'll be good.
Right. So these are things, so a lot of things that I believe we need to go through, or if you're playing a game or have some type of simulation to push you through it, that makes you be allowed to overcome certain obstacles. You know, those obstacles are there really to build you up, especially if they're good. Well, no good or bad, you're gonna learn either way. It's just hopefully the bad that you don't end up what he did in the jail, didn't he? So those areas. What is on page 8? 2 days, 2 ways of dealing with fear. One passive, the other active. So you just got to know how to end up doing that. In the passive mode, we seek to avoid the situation that causes anxiety. This could translate into postponing a decision. So we end up getting the paralysis of analysis. So people who have paralysis of analysis, they're like, I'm figuring it out, I'm analyzing it, but really it's that fear.
Mm-hmm.
It's that fear. Yeah, so talk about, I did the military slide for life right there. When you were in Hurricane Katrina, were you afraid, Dre? Well, you just didn't care. It was like we
Yeah. No, that's cause we didn't know it was Hurricane Katrina. I mean, we knew it was Hurricane Katrina, but we didn't know
it was that bad.
It was like a historic event. We didn't know so y'all was probably more scared than I was, cause y'all actually seeing it from the outside. Y'all seeing the propaganda. Y'all seeing where we're not at. Y'all seeing the worst of the worst that's going on the news. And we was in the dorm room for 5 days.
You didn't know. But what about when you was like, Mom, I think we about to run. We about to try to get out.
Nah, cause they got to line us. They was lying to us about they was like, yeah, they know we here and everything. If they wouldn't have ever said that, we would have been good. Then they was like, yeah, go outside with a white sheet to flag the helicopters down. We was like, hold on, I thought y'all said they knew we was here. You know, so we was just getting mixed signals. I was just that was just a frustrating part or whatever. I wasn't finna swim for real, mama. Come on.
But that fear, instead of me being passive about it, when I heard about that, I got on the phone. I went and contacted people who had the ham radios. I contacted people via email. So I started contacting people, and that's when I was like, oh, it's students that exist.
And we was in the dorm room playing spades,
But
reading.
I did.
But from the outside, we didn't know it was Katrina though. Like we ain't had no TV. Like we weren't seeing what y'all was seeing. So y'all were injected with the fear, and we was just there. Like,
No fear.
yeah, I mean, it was people actually out there that houses actually got flooded and stuff, and who actually had to swim, and who actually had to do that.
Okay.
You know, but us, we was inside a dorm room. We was flooded inside of it, but like we still had some food. We had people looted some stuff, whatever you want to call it. Had food. We broke open all the vending machines. Had a whole bunch of waters, bottled water to at least like wash up with. So,
which was a learning experience. You didn't have to like, oh, I don't have any water to wash up. And like, you know what? Think, let's bottle water. Let's go ahead and do it. But
yeah.
somebody was passive and they didn't know. They're like, you had somebody just being thinking and didn't want
to. That's what was talked about on page 8 in the quote. When he said the very first thing I remember in my early childhood is a blue flame jumping off a gas stove somebody lit. I was 3 years old. I felt fear, real fear for the first time in my life. But I also remember it was like some kind of adventure, some kind of real joy to it.
Like a new challenge.
Oh, you memorized all that? You weren't even reading it. You just said it.
No, the book right here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he memorized word for word.
But it's like, yeah, I feel like as we get older, we lose that adventurous aspect. Now it's like if this can hurt me, and if the effect of this may be some kind of pain, I'm not gonna do it, regardless if I'm gonna learn from it. And that's a very unhealthy fear. Like also fearing the uncontrolled. Like if you can't control it, you don't fear what's being done because you're not in control of it.
Because you always ask yourself, what lesson am I learning from this particular event? Either it's good, bad, indifferent, or whatever. What lesson can I learn from this event that allows me to move to my next level in life? Page 9 at the bottom. When we live in a relatively comfortable circumstance, the environment does not press us with obvious dangers, violence, limitations, or our movement. Our main goal then is to maintain the comfort and security. So do you think some people can be too comfortable? Because let's look at all the millionaires. Look at Tyler Perry. The reason why he pushed through his fears because he was home. So it seems like some people who have made it, they had more to lose, or they did go through the most type of the hardest type of event, traumatic event, and it either broke them, because I'm sure some people probably end up breaking, or it pushed them forward. There was no safety net. The safety net was not there. So you believe if a safety net is not there, could you do better? Are we, and even now us, me as Generation X, dealing with you all, there's still a safety net, but I think that if you didn't have the safety net, do you think you would be further now than if you didn't have the safety net? You understand? If you didn't have the safety net that you have, would you be further now? You'd be crazy.
Oh no. No, you start going in and out for a little minute.
Oh, okay.
I mean, like, I don't think that we would be able to really know the answers if the actual mind process was instilled inside of us, which would still be considered a safety net, even though it's not a physical net, it's still mental, still something that's learned. If that's still instilled, there's probably still a big chance that people would move where they're at to this day compared to not having like let's say like you taught us a lot growing up. Let's say if you had different types of knowledge, you went left instead of right when you were younger and had different experiences, then we would also end up following those different thoughts and different experiences. But there's always that one small chance before the bird just break out from the nest and go somewhere else. So it all really depends. Different
Right, the
circumstances.
butterfly effect.
Yeah.
The
I
butterfly.
mean, yeah, because like the safety net, that could be something different as well. Because I guess there's a difference between being fearful and being smart. Is it, yeah, like they say, like it's a difference between being a gangster and being stupid. It's different between being smart and being scary.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on like what lens you looking through. So like if I have a savings account, that's me creating my own safety net. And it could be out of a certain type of fear, but I wouldn't call it fear. I would just call that being smart. Like because of experiences, past experiences, some will happen.
Right.
Like an instance will come up. So I guess that's like a different type of fear. I want to say.
It's still fear because
It's like I say it's a healthier fear to be like, okay, let me make sure I got my own safety net in case anything goes wrong, or I got this money put up in case this person bail out on me on rent, or I got this, like just like fending for yourself, or just making sure you got yourself covered.
right, because it ends up being like I know me if a banking account, if in my checking account that's what I always try to tell our kids. You want to have I don't have no type of money amount. So once I get to a certain amount of money, so somebody asking me for money or if I need to purchase something, like I don't have it because I've reached that amount inside of my checking account. Period. I mean, because you never know. You don't want any checks to bounce. You don't have insufficient funds, but I guess that's why people have it connected for the insufficient funds as well. So you just yeah, for the bank, you have that amount of money. I get frantic when I'm not making my money. I'm like, okay, how's this gonna happen? But let me tell you something that did happen. Something did happen. I was always used to making a certain amount and being able to pay all my bills at the beginning of the month. So as soon as the bill come in, it gets paid. I never understood how people end up stacking up the bill. Okay, it's paid. I'm going ahead and pay. But because as soon as the bill come in, I end up writing a check. And I got to the point I had an incident when I didn't have the money and I had to wait until the money came in to pay that bill. And I got so anxiety kicked in because I was used to paying my bills. And it was like, oh, this is the way it feels when people don't have money. So that was as well. So when certain things happen, and even with the fear of I'm telling all my business. People actually don't listen to this. even even with the fear of losing his house when when I almost lost I said, you know what, the house ended up flooding. I didn't care about that. I'm like, I don't want the house anymore. It floods every time it rains. You know what, I'm like, forget it. I don't care about it. I don't want to even go. And then it felt like a whole
Oh, well, I got some plates back here. Y'all tell me how these plates back here.
Paper plates.
place. You got all that stuff.
That's for fear of washing dishes right there. That is.
Washing dishes. So yeah, so we return, passive, avoid, and so yeah. Anybody saying anything? While we all live, I'm not looking.
Yeah, I'm like, I was wondering, like, when do you get to the point of unhealthy fearlessness?
Unhealthy fearlessness. I wonder if they're going to talk about this book because that's the 50th law, fearlessness. So the
Yeah,
introduction is supposed to be, I guess, by the time we finish reading the book, you're going through to having that healthy fearlessness.
Yeah, I think more we go along, like some might interconnect with one another.
Right.
I'm pretty sure some stuff go contradict each other as well, but you just gotta know when to do certain things at
Yeah,
certain
like
times.
the
You
laws.
know, yeah,
Here's one. I pointed to something. They see the great power this brings to them. It soon becomes their dominant mindset. And it says this is why we see those who rise up. Oh, that's the Oprah Winfrey Charlotte Perry part. Because it's the fearless attitude is going through the boldness, the urgency, like we were talking about. You're creating those new models to move forward. So yeah. because he goes to Napoleon when they were talking about going through. Oh, I like the Frederick Douglass one. The example of Frederick Douglass on page 11. Y'all see that?
Okay, right there, the example on the bottom.
Yeah, at the bottom. Yeah. He said the great abolitionist, the writer Frederick Douglass, who was born into slavery in Maryland in 1817. As he later wrote, slavery was a system that depended on the creation of deep level of fear. So slavery is based on fear. So once Frederick Douglass did not fear what could happen to him during slavery, he stopped because he stopped being afraid of severe punishment.
Yeah, they said they stopped punishing them after a while. We're punishing them less.
And you know what? And the same thing with Ikeem. Um, I used to try to discipline him the same way I discipline you. So if Ikeem does something like do some push-ups, okay, I do push-ups. I do push-ups. I'm like, you want to do push-ups because it's a disciplinary action. I'm like, I'm gonna make you write the dictionary. Oh, I get to write the dictionary. I get to write. I'm like, okay, disciplinary action to this guy because he is enjoying what's supposed to be a disciplinary action. So I didn't know what to do with Ikeem when it came to a discipline because what worked for you didn't work for him.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of like a good transition into the actual first chapter as well,
Mm-hmm.
which is seeing the world for what it actually is,
Being realist, yeah.
right? Realism. So you you raised me, and then 10 years later you got another baby that you're trying to raise the same way, thinking everything gonna be the same way, but he has different variables. He's growing up in a different time. So like methods that worked on me is not gonna work on him. So I guess and I think that kind of like ties into the fear thing as well. I think that's why this chapter came like directly after it,
Right.
because people sometimes fear change, or they fear um, things that are not the same as they used to be. So they kind of stuck with a narrow-minded instead of seeing exactly what's going on in front of them. Like say, Fish, you had a best friend from high school, and 15 years down the line, y'all run into each other, and a lot of times, like your mind goes back to the high school days automatically, and you automatically think y'all still vibing on that level, and this, but if you actually like took them out, you don't act like you didn't know them and relearned them, you will have a sharper eye and actually seeing what's really going on rather than what you want to be there.
Right. That's the realism. That's what, and a lot of people end up doing that even with relationships. They probably end up going back and say, you know what, I really liked her, or I really liked him in high school, but now you see each other again at 30 or 40 years old, and you're not being realistic and realistic.
Yeah.
About you seeing for them for who they are, and not who you saw them on. What do you say? Rose-colored glasses. How you end up creating something.
I guess it kind of clouds your judgment and like make you ignore red flags, I guess I should say.
Right. Right. What do you say? 27. Richard Wright. This is life, new and strange. Strange because we fear it. New because we have kept our eyes turned from it. Men are men and life is life, and we must deal with them as they are. And if we want to change them, we must deal with them in the form in which they exist. Richard Wright. So chapter one is the hustler's eye, knowing what to see, how things are. You already talked about where um, Curtis Jackson came from. So more about, and I like how in chapter one, because now it's going into talking more about how he moved from one stage to another stage in life. How um, was the drug dealer, right? And understanding the parts of being a drug dealer, and then understanding how to hustle, and not like you said. and he had to end up, what do you say, from old head advice. Well, how do I do it? I got this whole thing highlighted.
It's like I remember that Curtis Jackson, he was the dealer at first, and then he became the he went to jail and came out and became the bagger for somebody else.
Can you speak up a little bit?
Who say?
Like he became the bagger for somebody else after he was the actual dealer. So he was dealing on the streets first, hustling, went to jail, then became a bagger, but then realized that he was under someone else's control, and it starts making the transition to power, and to like what power has to do with everything.
Right.
So he found his why and found his how, put it together, and learned how to get himself back out
What's
the
going
game
on?
where he wants to be at.
How we all highlighted different things. I like that.
Yeah, I know one thing I highlighted as well was yeah, he has to see all the bullshit people throw at him, their games, their lousy ideas. He has to look at himself, see his own limitations and stupidity. All of this sharpens the eye to a razor edge, making him a keen observer of everything. So not only you gotta examine other people, you gotta examine yourself as well.
And
Um,
that goes to the point that I
like
was.
some people don't see.
Huh?
Like a lot of times, I probably don't even see myself like or what's going on until I think about it after. Like and just think about it like, okay, man, yeah, that was stupid.
Now, why do I do that?
But at the time, like it clouds you up as well, because if you stuck in your ways and you're gonna defend yourself no matter if you're wrong or not, then you have no, like, the world go pass you up, go pass you by real quick.
And
So
that's
it's like say for instance, like say think of like a coach of a basketball team or a football team. So you have like these old school coaches. Like first off, to be a coach, like you have to know how to treat each person. Like certain people, you got to pull to the side, tell them how they messed up. Some people, you got to yell at them. Some you got to embarrass in front of the team. Some you got to embarrass in front of the media. Like especially when you're dealing with like a lot of different personalities and egos. So coming at everybody in this cookie cutter way won't be the same. So that's the reason you have to observe. And another thing with that, like there's a lot of old school coaches who are being fired or not doing as good anymore is because they're not adapting to the new players that's coming up. So if you've been coaching for 30 years, like that's 3 decades of different people coming up. Like they wasn't raised the same way as the people that was raised with you. So when you try to come with this hard nose and stuff and try to discipline them, and like you're not gonna build your brand. Like they like, man, I had my own brand since high school. I've been on Twitter, I've been on Instagram. Like I got this brand already. Like, I don't need you. So you got to come like with like a different way of that. So yeah, I think that's I guess a kind of way to put it. Like kind of being a coach of your own world
I like that.
and knowing and actually seeing it for what it is and not just being stuck on it,
Which
stuck
goes
on what you think it is.
which goes to, I don't know if I had you look at the movie Biker Boys with Lawrence Fishburne, and he always began with the end in mind. You know what you're gonna do in the beginning, and you want to always make sure you focus on that point, and you really can see how constant and never-ending improvement. So you analyzing yourself all the time, but constant and never-ending improvement, and also finding which way you want to. And also, that's one of the 7 habits of highly effective people as well. Begin with the end in mind. What you want to do with that area too. Um, I like how he said in there about the ceiling. What happened? I know he was talking about that the ceiling. What happened with the low-paying job? What do you need to do? Change your lifestyle. You're trying to do something else. You figure out how to move forward. He wanted to find he wanted to figure out, because once he ended up talking about the drug game, he wanted to figure out what ties going to bring it to the music industry. And that's what we're going to talk about. Can you hear, can you hear me now?
Yeah, like you be it kind of go up, down, up, down.
I guess I got to figure out how to change the video. Oh, wait a minute, right there. This is I don't know. We'll figure out again next time. Because I see the mic stuff right there. Okay, what I can do is to always keep my eye on the mic and see how the mic is moving up as well. I'm sure it's some type of equalizer in
here. Yeah, like we can hear you good now though.
Oh, you can? Yeah, because I'm seeing the green go up. So I don't know what. So I'll keep my eye on that. So he said the music business was as harsh as the street. You were the pawn in their game. So he wanted to figure out like how Keith said he didn't want to ban drugs anymore. He wanted to figure out how he could end up being a distributor. So the same thing on the music industry, what he needs to do to not be a pawn in the game or understanding the harshness of the truth. But I think every industry you go into, somebody's going to be the pawn, somebody's going to be the root. Somebody's going to be the different pawns. You know the queen, you know the king, you got the rook, you got. So somebody's going to be each part inside of the game. So you've got to figure out and learn how to make those moving parts move. What? Page 32. When things get tough, you grow tired of the grind. Oh, this is what you was talking about, I think, Joy. When things get tough and you grow tired of the grind, your mind tends to drift into fantasy. You wish things were a certain way, and slowly, subtle, you turn inward to your thoughts and desires. If things are going well, you become complacent, imagining that what you will have now continue forever. And you must stop paying attention before you know you'll be overwhelmed. So basically,
I highlight that part too.
Did you? Wow. So what did you get for that when you end up highlighting it?
Basically, don't get comfortable. Like basically, long story short, don't get too high and don't get too low. So it's like if you go to work one day, I go to work one day and I be killing it or whatever. Like, ooh, I'm a beast. I'm the smartest person in the world. You know what I mean? Like, then the next day you messing up. You go, oh man, I'm so stupid. You know what I mean? Like, don't do none of that. Just stay in this little right here. Don't get too up or too down. Because if you get too up, you get too comfortable. If you get too down, you dwell in it.
Right.
So it's like a like if you stay right here. If you stay right here, you can be comfortably humble. Well, I'm not comfortably humble. You could be what's the word for it? Confident. Like you're still confident, but you're still humble. So when you're up here, you're probably too confident, no humble. When you're down here, you're too humble, no confidence. So it's probably just like the middle of it. So when you're actually seeing it for what it is every single day, and just taking it one day at a time, basically. Because, yeah, I can understand, like, if you think you're getting somewhere, if something has been working for 10 years and then the world started changing, I'm pretty sure once technology started, it's people that didn't flip with it. They didn't go with it. Like, you got different stuff. Like, even, like, this COVID situation, like, it's probably not the new norm, but it's probably be a lot of new norms that come out of it. Like after 9/11 happened, like you couldn't get dropped off and go through everywhere. Your family used to go get to go right up there till you're finna get on the plane, you know, and then and you could probably get to your flight in 30 minutes. And it was quick with it, and now after 9/11, like just because of that event, there's like a new norm and going through the actual process of flying now. So there might be like just specific things you go see people. So you see people with a red bandana or blue black bandana coming in the store no more. They not finna think you robbing them no more.
The new normal is people actually washing their hands.
8 months ago, that was automatically like a, you know, like how quickly like the world changed on it. So even when I be like looking at like stuff that went on like in history, like if it shows this guy who's actually robbing somebody, and somebody who's actually born in this COVID world and know that's what they're doing, they would think nothing of it. Like that was if someone they was doing this to cover up their face to actually do this. Right. So I guess it like depends on like the context as well. Like I guess that's why they say believe none of what you see and half of what you see. I mean, none of what you hear and half of what you see, because half of what you see is probably blurred from somebody's vision or not in the right context, or they could find a way to flip certain things that are manipulate you in some type of way and have you thinking something even though that's not really what it is. But we actually living through it, so we can actually see it growing and coming up. So we actually have that advantage that like the next like 2-3 generations down the line won't have.
Right, even with technology. I grew up with learning and using the new computer that you have to have on your desk, and when the phone becomes a computer in your hand, I grew up with technology where you all grew up on. I grew up with it, you grew up on it, and I grew up using it. Is that it?
Say it again.
I grew up with it, you grew up on it, and I grew up using it. Technology, phone.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
Yeah, I grew up with it. It was learning. You grew up on it, and
yeah, because when I was in high school, I still had a beeper. We used to have beepers and stuff, you know.
Right.
And then we played Nokia with the snake, and then like it just kind of took off. I say like in like 05, 06, sometime like that.
Like the idea of the iPhone is like of the smartphone is fairly new. Like when like the iPhone original one came out with 2010. So like
yeah, but before that it was like the Blackberries and
that was the coolest thing with the little button.
Chirp. When you hang up on somebody, it was all dramatic.
Like, how you think you hang up right now? Even if you get angry and hang up, you're like. So he talks about some school here. I'm gonna move forward. We've been talking. I was like, I thought I put this here. I said, only a fool believes themselves to know everything. Why did I put that?
It is people that think they believe they know everything.
Right. I'm gonna put it on page 39.
They say 39.
Yeah, I put it on page 39.
I got something on 39. It was talking about like basically like if you act as you was a baby, like act like you don't know anything when someone is like telling you something, which is kind of hard in some places because sometimes I know I'm not finna believe what they saying. But something I gotta work on as well. But it's like if you try to see from your enemy side, like try to see exactly how they're saying, even if you know you may be right, like just seeing how, just try to make sense of it.
Right.
Like it's a lot of people that feel this way, so obviously their ideology is like they believe something, and then if you understand them, then you're more likely to be able to come at them with the actual solution, or be able to actually talk to them in a way where they probably are more susceptible to listen. They probably won't listen anyway. Sometimes you gotta agree to disagree. Like it happens, you know. So it's like if you just look at like when you a baby, you're actually seeing the world for what it is. Like you're experiencing everything, you crawling around, knocking stuff over, being bad. And then like as you like grow up and actually develop your personality and actually go up, like you start changing, like I guess like even through like the adolescence phases, and you know like sometimes they're easily influenced still. A lot of, but you're actually seeing it for what it is. Like by the time I say get grown, like you kind of like, okay, like I know what it is. I'm stuck in my ways now, or at least like to a certain extent. Where you like basically just shut out everything, which could like leave you in the past too. Like I was talking about like companies that didn't want to go, right? Like companies that was working from home or had the option to work from home right now, they was good because they was prepared for it. They was proactive instead of reactive.
Right.
So now like you got like the other company who wasn't ready for it yet. It was like, oh man, like you struggling to try to catch up.
Right.
Because like people was probably telling them like, yeah, you might as well give them this, and they weren't on it.
So people, a lot of things with this, you were forced to change instead of just go ahead and evolve into change. Yeah, that type.
Right.
Yeah. So you leave your mind open to, and I'm the same way, and I can understand why a lot of companies don't like hiring older people because older people they're like, this is how we always did it. No, this is a whole new in era that we're in to learn certain things new. I like learning new. I like change. I like communicating, finding certain things out. That's why I'm gonna go. I'm gonna be on Snapchat. I'm gonna be on TikTok. I'm gonna I'm gonna speak. I'm gonna do all that stuff. I like social media and things that it does. I even bring that to the classroom when I'm dealing with my students. I give an assignment. Yes, we're gonna have discussion board posts. Like, no, why don't you go ahead and do a TikTok? What can we do in TikTok in up under a minute in order to convey your interest in a particular subject or
Mhm.
entertaining people? So I include social media into I include social media into my class as well. Even when I grade my students, I don't just type in if I'm giving feedback the feedback. I do a video. Hi, how you all doing? This is what you could have done different. So I'm talking to them um, face to face on a video, whereas schools and professors who were not ready and did not use the video when they were working with their students, they still probably don't do it. They're probably teaching their classes and don't even have their face open, turn their camera turned on and just teaching the class. But I'm okay because one of the professors told me, "Oh, how do you record your welcome video?" I said, "I record my welcome video." I did it like 7 times. I'm like, if you were sitting in the classroom to introduce yourself, you're gonna do it 1 time. You're not gonna say, rewind, I don't like that. Okay, rewind out. No, go ahead and talk to the student and move
Yeah,
on.
yeah. Act like you're doing it right. You don't get a do over in real life.
And that's what a lot of people when we're dealing with innovation, they think they want to do that. Like, no, you can do it now.
Like I remember this one time I was at work and they was talking about like the IT stuff and like different way of doing stuff and don't always just take like old methods and then just use it whatever. Like of course if you want to switch it up, you still gotta learn the old one and know why that's used or whatever because that's basically someone's baby and you
Right.
don't want to call nobody baby ugly basically. So so people that don't want to change, like you're basically calling their baby ugly, but you gotta like let them know why they baby ugly. You know, like maybe that's not probably not the best example, but so basically they was talking about it was somebody who was making a turkey on Thanksgiving. So then like you take the turkey, cut it in half, have this side on this side, this side on this side, and bake it. They was like, well, why you cut it in half like that? He was like, cuz that's the way my mama taught me. He's like, why your mama do it like that? That's the way my grandma taught me. Why your grandma do it? That's the way my great grandma taught me. So then come to find out, the only reason they used to cut the turkey in half is because the ovens weren't big enough to hold the big turkey like that by itself. So we now have ovens. We now have ovens to cook the whole turkey.
Right. So
So you gotta let them know like we have a big enough oven without saying they can't cook or without calling that baby ugly.
right.
Cause I mean sometimes you just gotta get it. Like if the whole world is not cutting their turkey in half and you still doing it for no reason, and got me hungry. But
What?
yeah, I guess it's just a way to like to see it for what it is and to know the why behind things are changing and not just going with the status quo just because like that's what it is because the world go constantly change and like you have to get with it whether you like it or not.
Right.
Not saying you have to move exactly how everyone's moving, but you still have to keep up with the technology that makes people actually listen to you.
And I understand you can still have wisdom from previous technology. And you still, and I remember we were talking about when I was down there around Christmas. They somebody cutting the grass
Mhm.
around Christmas, and we were talking about how some you all still have COBOL, right? So what happens when the system, even like here with COVID, you had to know COBOL. But everybody who's teaching now, I mean, everybody who's writing code now knows only Java or any other type of programming language. But you need to go in and understand how to use COBOL in order to fix that program. So we're talking about what happens to the people who are no longer living, who knows how to do those programming language.
Right.
So you have that.
So they know how to do things without using certain. Like I was watching like Walking Dead or something, and it was like this lady who had like a whole book of like how to start over and farm and doing this like we go to the grocery store, like we go to like if this ended right now, like in one of more grocery stores, like we'll have to learn how to farm again. You'll still have to learn how to go back. So still like know where you come from, but know where certain things come from, but still be I guess open-minded enough to see where it should change, how it should change, and what change should you actually go with, like in influencing you.
But even
you're not gonna do every chance. I'm not gonna be doing these little crazy little dances they be doing. They be doing
a lot of things, but even with, a lot of people are learning how to grow their food now. They couldn't go anywhere. Obviously, a lot of people were like, "We're gonna grow our food." Okay, that's a lot.
Yeah. Like the term organic that came out of nowhere. I didn't even know what organic was. Like now it's like okay, they cloning stuff now. I'm like I thought if I got some corn, it was supposed to be some regular corn. You know, like no, this the organic corn. I'm like okay, all right.
Okay, I'm still ready to corn. Right. What is I like this part, page 40. Force yourself to go to events and places that's beyond your usual circle. So don't just stay in your, and it goes back to what I always tell you all, you don't want to be the smartest person in your circle. Or if you've never gone to an art museum, go to the art museum sometime. Never gone to an orchestra, go hear some symphony. Go to an orchestra, hear some opera. And I don't like opera. I went to opera.
Yeah, I think I'm good on the opera. Maybe when I get older, I'll probably go to an opera one day.
Personal responsibility. I said no personal responsibility. So this country goes in for the surface glossing, and the state refuse surface. So looking at certain things, most people in this country always look at things on the surface level and don't dig deep and find out the meaning behind different actions, why things happen. And even in my opinion, what I believe because everybody's doing certain things that's against the blue. Yes, they're doing crazy things in my opinion. But I really do believe they need to have a sabbatical away from being a paid year off. I think that's a good idea. Paid year off, not doing anything in law enforcement for a year. So you can end up becoming sensitized again. Because I think a lot of things get desensitized. So to end up getting away from because people have PTSD as well. So I think even if you're in law enforcement, police, don't care if you are 911, if you're a 911 caller, still can't hear me. 911 caller. So I think there needs to be some type of sabbatical away from the job. Even because teachers, you have, as a professor, I had to come away and go teach for a while so I can empathize with my students, understand what they're going through, know certain things that's happening and things like that. So you know how to do that. So the root of the problem. You already said page 43. Look at people's deeds, not their words. So you're going to look at their deeds. A lot of stuff you already talked about.
Yeah, it kind of all go into each other. Some stuff is just focused on more part.
Right.
Like I was talking about this, like, I think I said this too, something I highlighted. It says, think of your own biggest mistakes or those of others. How could they have been foreseen? Generally, there are signs that seem so obvious afterwards. Now imagine if those same signs that you are probably ignoring in the present.
Wow, that's deep right there.
All right, so basically, like they always say, hindsight 2020.
Right.
You should have did this. Oh, it's easy to say now, you know. So like,
but have that same type of thought going through it now? If you know hindsight 2020, what are you? I guess it goes back to being a realist, right?
Yeah, like even like, and sometimes you probably could have just made the right move. It just didn't come out the right way. Like say for instance, okay, like LeBron James, right? It was like a game last year. He had like 46. You know the infamous J.R. Smith game.
Yeah.
Like he did that or whatever. So at the end of the game, like LeBron, like he I think I forgot who was on. I think Curry was on him, but it was like Draymond was right here and somebody else was right here. They was waiting on him to make a move or whatever. So then the dude Skip was on Shannon Sharp and Skip. They doing a little show. He was like, "You're LeBron James. You're supposed to take that shot." But he ended up passing it to an open dude who cut, and he just got fouled. And then he ended up missing the second free throw. So, but he was saying like he was looking at the results instead of like, was it actually the right move?
Mm-hmm.
But if LeBron would have just pulled up and missed the shot, they would have been like, man, you could have just passed it right him. He was right there under there. You know, like, so like you can't always let the results determine if it was the right thing to do or not. I guess it's just on a case by case instance. Like some people just look at the results and be like somebody like, man, come home, come home. I'm like, nah, man, there's traffic outside. I've been drinking a little bit. You get in trouble for not going. But then like if you go and something happen, now you like, oh, I should have just did this. You know, like it's just like certain situations that seem where it's like it seemed obvious after, but it is not so obvious at the time. So I guess like trying to see exactly what's obvious is the hard part to like know exactly which, I guess, what's obvious about it.
Right.
It's like a lot of time, I feel like I feel like a lot of things when people have their 2 cents on something can also like in the back of their head they may know that they're wrong, but it's more of oh, I did say this initially. Like say if someone tells you, oh, I want you to do this, but then you do it and then something bad happens and they're like, oh, why didn't you do this? It's more of like because they don't want to be wrong in their words too.
Yeah.
Now they're like, oh, they need to switch up.
Defend the wrong, especially if it's something that they doing. I think we was talking about that a little bit earlier. Like certain people, like just they stuck in their ways, and instead of looking at the evidence that's in front of them, they just try to find new evidence to just prove their point at that time.
Right.
So if it's somebody actually doing it for themselves and it's something that they said, they probably go even harder because those are those words, and people don't want to be wrong.
So people not living the scientific method. If we all live the scientific methods, we would be okay. What's the scientific method? What's step one? What is the scientific method?
Hypothesis.
Hypothesis. Quadratic equations. I don't know.
Oh, you tested? You tested? I keep about to look it up.
Let me see.
Oh yeah, that's like the problem hypothesis.
Yeah.
Data, conclusion, all that, the results.
Yeah, the scientific method, the question, hypothesis, experiment, and data, analyze and report.
So you have that after action review for everything you do. So if you did something, you do something, it'd be good to say, okay, this happened. This is what I could have done. This is what I can do. That's why I used to make you all do. Y'all used to.
But sometimes you gotta like, I guess, look at why the data is the way it is as well. Like I said, like with LeBron, he could have took that shot, but he still made the right play because he had a wide open dude under the post. Like they say, the main reason you lost, it wasn't because you made that pass. It's because he didn't make them free throws. and JR wasn't looking at the clock once he got the rebound. But like I guess like knowing the root cause as well. I guess the actual analytical part of it and the results and the analytical part need to be kind of closely monitored together because the results don't automatically mean it was the right thing to do.
But how can that help people when most people are emotional? How can anything happen? How can people be sharpening their sword when most people are emotional instead of being analytical or being realist? So that's what we're talking about here. So that reverse the perspective. Or do you have anybody in it? Because I was thinking because you're saying you being a realist. The word realist often comes as a negative connotation, but it's really conventional wisdom. So they're not saying you're being cynical, but you're saying things for what they really are instead of and so you can be realist and be an innovator like Bill Gates. We have Paul Allen. We have all the other people. But if you are more an person who does imagination, can you still be innovative, or do they need to work together?
Well, like I feel like the
You try
imagination
to.
part, like someone that uses their imagination instead of like intense realism. I believe that's still realism. That's because you're following the scientific method. You're following the experimental part, but in your brain, you're
But would
thinking.
that be more innovation person instead of being imagination? Because you can be, would that be more? Would that be more? Because Steve Jobs, he was really an innovator. He tried to do things to find something to make certain things better. But he uses imagination to have innovation. I'm wondering. I'm
I mean,
just
I'm pretty sure like a lot of people are not gonna be 100% everything
right.
because
So should have people
you
with
can't completely take your emotion out of everything. Like certain stuff is you go get emotional on. I think if you can check yourself on it,
right.
and you think like, am I doing? It's like this. Like say for instance, two people in a room, right? One of them your best friend is somebody you don't like. If that person could say a joke, you go laugh. Person you don't like say that same exact joke, you go be, what you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, like that's the emotional invested part. Even though they said the same exact thing, same exact way, like that's your emotion getting in the way on if that joke was really funny. It probably really wasn't funny. You just laughed because it's them, or
Right.
I guess like trying to like point that out. That's probably like the most challenging part, rather than how to react after it, because everybody go act different after it. Like once you see things for what they are, like we three different people on this call right now, but we are handling it in three different ways that suits our personality and I guess can smoothly get it there. I guess the best way of us doing the same job of what we need to do.
Right. I guess that's the end of chapter 2. We can end it off with what James Baldwin said. People who cling to their delusions find it difficult, if not impossible, to learn anything worth learning. A people under the necessity of creating themselves must examine everything and soak up learning the way the root of the tree soaks up water. So James Baldwin. I guess if you look at life like that, it would be so, like how you were saying with a baby, just soak up
Hmm.
sponge.
Yeah.
So the next chapter we're gonna do, we're gonna do one chapter at a time, so it don't go this long next time.
Yeah. Yeah. I say we do one at a time.
So we're gonna do chapter 2 next time. So chapter 2 is not gonna be this long because we
Man,
just
how many pages is this?
Mm,
so chapter
chapter
two
2.
is from 49 to 68, so 20
Out
pages.
of 68.
Yeah.
Okay, that ain't bad.
So anybody
We got
listening,
50
if you
pages.
want to join, we're doing chapter 2 for the next one, so you can join us. And chapter 2 is based on what? Making everything cool. Wait a minute. I don't even know. What word is that? I can't even. Make everything. This word is a funny font. What is this?
Well, I'll make everything your own
Yours.
Your
That's
self-reliance.
a Y.
self-reliance.
Making everything your own self-reliance.
I guess this old English.
Font. Right.
Yeah, that D look like a P
Oh, what is this?
or a backwards G.
Making everything your own self-reliance. So chapter
That's
two.
it. Oh, that's a Y.
Huh?
He said that D. He said, "Oh, that's a Y."
I said that P look like a D or a backwards G. I'm like, that's a Y though.
That's a Y, your. I'm like, what word is this? Your, darn, your, I don't
For
know.
your own, for your own,
So we're doing
for your own troubles.
so anybody that wants, because you all can actually listen to it on YouTube. I'm sure somewhere on YouTube you can actually listen to somebody read chapter 2.
Yes, it's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube.
The
So,
audiobook.
alrighty. So thank you all for joining us. I'm not going to actually cut this up in 2 parts as well. Because I'm going to end up chopping it. Alrighty, so thank you all for joining. See y'all next time, and wonder how my hair is gonna look next time. So here we go. Give me a second.
Right. I'll be up on this thing.
Alright, we done.
Alright, it's done.
And the live is still on.
Let me turn the live off.
Oh, you know, saying something crazy up on here.
See y'all later. I'm turning live off.
All right, y'all. Levitate.
All right, you all levitate. Are y'all still seeing it online?
All right, it's done now.
I don't know. Look and see. Can you see it?
You can go see I keep pop up on the stairs up there.
I still see it.
Yeah, you still live.
I'm still live. How do
Yeah.
I?